Now at 6, a massive transportation bill that could determine the fate of hundreds of jobs at ODOT is being delayed again. We'll tell you when they're expected to vote.
The Department of Justice is suing the state of Oregon, claiming it refused to provide important voter information. Coming up, we break down the lawsuit and what state officials are saying about it.
And we also have this moving story for you this morning. Moving.
Okay.
We're going to tell you how this cow from Arizona got a second chance at life. That story at 6:45 as we kick off the 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Wednesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. What do you say we describe that story together, just like that, moving on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Why?
Moving. Chris McGinnis?
In unison.
We're going to move our way over to the
6
weather.
a.m. It's 6 a.m.
Chris has a moving weather forecast.
I do, yes. Not as warm as yesterday, so that's the story for our forecast this afternoon. That said, it's gorgeous out there this morning. Look at this pretty silhouette of Mount Hood off in the distance. Sunrise about 45, 50 minutes away right now, but the sky brightening up, and even see a few stars out there, and it looks like maybe a few planes lining up, getting ready to land at PDX as well. Out the door, it's 59 right now at the airport. It's 56 in Vancouver Battleground, waking up to 53. And as we slide down to the South Wilsonville at 58 in Salem, 56 degrees right now. The plan, whoops, we went right past my day planner. I'll give you the 7-day forecast. Why not? 81 today, so a good 8 to 10 degrees cooler today. Cooler still Thursday. I'll detail that rain chance coming up for the weekend coming up in just a few minutes. All right, now let's get you out the door with that traffic report. And we've got an apartment fire right now over in Aloha. We're working to get more details on the situation, but right now you can see photojournalist Eric Patterson is live on the scene. The traffic impact is that West Baseline right now is closed between 197th and 201st. Has been for at least the last hour and a half or so. Your detour, your traffic solution around this is going to be Rock Road for now. Back to the freeways, a quick look at the Banfield. That looks good for now. I-5 from Clark County also in pretty good shape, and the drive times still unscathed with any major issues. Guys, we're off to a pretty good start.
All right, thank you, Chris. Top story here at 6 o'clock. Oregon lawmakers have once again postponed the long-awaited vote on a bill that aims to provide billions in funding to Oregon transportation agencies.
Now, a vote on the controversial bill has already been delayed several times after a larger version of the legislation did not pass in June. So Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us in the newsroom. So Thomas, what is the reason for the delay this time?
Well, guys, this delay, same reason as the last one. The state Senate is waiting on one lawmaker, Democratic Senator Chris Gorsuch, who continues to recover from health complications after having back surgery. Earlier this month, the House passed the transportation funding bill largely along party lines. The legislation would prevent service cuts and hundreds of layoffs at ODOT, though it would add a 6-cent gas tax hike and large increases in title and registration fees. Republicans have long pushed back against that, saying Oregonians just can't afford any more taxes. In June, Democrats were unable to pass a larger transportation bill worth $12 billion, which was possibly their most important goal of the legislative session. In a statement, Democratic Senate President Rob Wagner addressed the delay, saying in part the bill is important for all Oregonians who rely on our roads and the maintenance workers whose jobs are at risk. At the same time, we are not going to do anything that would put the health of our colleague at risk. Republicans fired back, with Republican Senate leader Bruce Starr saying while they hope Gorsuch makes a full recovery, this entire situation was avoidable, adding Governor Kotek could have worked with Republicans from the beginning to craft a transportation package with true bipartisan support. Even if this bill does eventually pass, Democrats say it's just a Band-Aid. They also say more funding is needed in the future to support transportation agencies and keep those workers on the job. Drew.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning there in the KGW newsroom. Meanwhile, the U.S. Justice Department is taking Oregon and Maine to court, the entire states, accusing both of them of breaking federal law. The Trump administration says this lawsuit stems from the states refusing to hand over voter information. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson is live in downtown Portland for us this morning with more on this. Corey?
That's right, Drew. The Trump administration says the secretaries of state for both Oregon and Maine refused to hand over important voter data information at the Department of Justice request. Now, according to the DOJ, that was announced on Tuesday, Oregon refused to produce a current unredacted electronic copy of the state's voter registration list, information on the state's voter list maintenance program, and would also not disclose registration information for any ineligible voters. The DOJ alleges that violates the National Voter Registration Act, the Help America Vote Act, and the Civil Rights Act of 1960. But Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed rejected the Justice Department's request last month, saying that complying could violate Oregon's privacy laws.
The federal government is exceeding their authority in this regard. They're entitled to public records like anyone else, and if they want to fill out the form and pay the fee, we'll provide them that public record. But it does not include social security numbers, dates of birth, signatures, driver's license information.
An attorney for the DOJ said in a statement on the lawsuit, in part, states simply cannot pick and choose which federal laws they will comply with, including our voting laws. Now, Steve Hobbs, the Secretary of State for Washington, said he received a similar request last week, but does not intend to comply. Coming up at 7, we break down more of this lawsuit. Drew, China.
All right, thank you, Corey. Tyler Robinson, the man charged in the shooting death of Charlie Kirk last week, appeared virtually in a Utah courtroom yesterday. Robinson faces a list of charges, including aggravated murder. Prosecutors say they'll seek the death penalty. Robinson will remain in jail at this point without bail. His next hearing is scheduled for September 29th.
2 men who allegedly enticed a 13-year-old girl into 3 years of prostitution will face 19 and 15 years in prison. The Multnomah County DA's office says Dominic Williams met the girl in 2021 and then trafficked her on the street in Multnomah County. The other defendant, Khalif Newcomb, trafficked the victim when she was separated from Williams. In a statement, the prosecutor said, quote, "I am extremely proud of this brave young woman for coming forward to relive and report some of the most violent and traumatizing events of her life. Her courage led to holding 5 dangerous men accountable for some of the most awful crimes in our community, buying and selling children for sex. 3 other people are facing charges, including purchasing sex with a minor."
First responders say someone died earlier this week along the Oregon coast after falling into Thor's well. This is a popular tourist attraction in Yaha. It's on the central Oregon coast. It basically sits right in the ocean. When first responders arrived there on Monday afternoon, they say wave conditions made a rescue attempt at ground level too dangerous. There were also several unsuccessful tries to save the person from above with a helicopter. A Coast Guard rescue swimmer eventually recovered the body. The Lincoln Chronicle newspaper reports this is the 3rd time since 2017 that someone has died after falling into Thor's well.
Skeletal remains found near 50 years ago have now been identified as missing tiger woman. DNA helped identify the remains as Marion Vanetta Nagel McWhorter. She was 21 years old when she was last seen at a Tigard shopping mall back in 1974. A hiker found her skull 2 years later. The Lane County Sheriff's Office is now working to determine how she died.
Oregon State Police are trying to track down 2 people accused of trespassing and poaching elk in Wasco County. Investigators say a trail camera caught the suspects gutting and taking a cow elk on private property near the town of Antelope shortly after 4:30 in the morning back on September 6th. Police also believe the suspect's car is a 2001 to 2004 light-colored Nissan Frontier with an older canopy and a roof rack. There's a $1,000 reward for any information that leads to finding or arresting this pair. You can send your tips to State Police online at osp.oregon.gov.
Cute. The Humane Society for Southwest Washington says it's seen a 23% increase in the number of cats it's taking in compared to this time last year. To help them find new forever homes, the Humane Society is waiving adoption fees for cats 6 months and older this Friday through Sunday. And to learn more, go to the Humane Society for Southwest Washington's website.
All right, our furry friend Rod Hill has another day off. In fact, he's off for the rest of the week.
Call him furry.
Yeah, you know, sometimes he doesn't shave when he's on the sunrise.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's all. Chris McGinnis in for Rod this morning with a little weather and a little traffic.
And a really pretty sunrise. Check this out. I'll step out of the way. The live look from the newest camera here at KGW. This from the springs at the waterfront in Vancouver. Silhouette of Mount Hood off in the distance. Of course, the interstate bridge down below. We'll give you a little traffic report. How about that? The drive over the bridge looks good. All right, 56 last check in Vancouver. We're 58 at PDX. Along the Oregon coast, we're actually starting to see a little fog and mist. 58 right now from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Beaverton waking up to 56. It's 56 in Salem, and the Dalles sit at 53 at last report. Futurecast today, we keep the sunshine, but we lose that stiff east breeze, and instead it's replaced by a gentle breeze. That breeze will pick up out of the west later this afternoon, a sign that the air mass is cooler and will probably wake up to some clouds tomorrow morning. But in terms of today, our Wednesday forecast shapes up like this, holding right around 60 between now and about 8 o'clock. I've got temperatures in the mid-70s at lunchtime. PDX hit 89 degrees yesterday. Salem hit 93. Today we dial back the temperatures quite a bit. I've got Portland topping out at 81, and elsewhere, again, a good 8 to 10 degrees cooler. At lunchtime, 73 in Salem. Salem gets up to about 82 for a high today. The East Gorge, though, still quite toasty with highs near 90 out towards the Dalles. Here's our 7-day forecast. We dial it back a few more degrees on Thursday. And again, the morning clouds will be fairly prevalent, I think, for the first part of the day, and then we'll clear it out. Partly sunny Friday, 78. And the weekend rain chance, we've moved it from Saturday to like overnight Saturday, Sunday morning. So Saturday actually looks like a dry day. Sunday probably starts wet. That's your 7-day forecast. Back to you guys.